I tried to make this 10 wall art tips, but I just have way too many. So here are all of my tips, secrets, hacks that I've used to find or DIY art for room makeovers in order to save money, because art is expensive. These ideas are perfect whether you've avoided buying art your entire life, you're curious about what art you should be buying, if you need to find art and not spend thousands of dollars, or if you're a pro but you want some tips and hacks to level up your space or your art collection. So after watching this video, I know that you'll have a better time finding unique art, you'll learn easy DIY hacks to create your own art, and you'll also know how to decorate with art. Otherwise, I will give you all of your money back. Today we're gonna be talking about wall art like in your home. I think that's kind of different than maybe what you would see at an art gallery, or what you would enjoy in an art gallery is not gonna be what works in your home. So just know that the lens today is wall art for your home. And we'll be talking about those styling tips later. Because I'm a big thrifting girly, one of my top ways to find art is just thrifting the art. This can be marketplace, this can be your traditional thrift store. There's lots of cool, unique pieces there, and sometimes you do have to like go through a lot of trash to find the treasure, but it's always really fun. I like to pay special attention to any of the pieces that are hand painted, especially if they have a lot of that texture, maybe they're at acrylic or oil, and you're like, this looks like a one-of-a-kind piece. For sure. If you see art and you don't know who the artist is, you can either use reverse image search to look up the art or maybe the signature. I just found out that this is a Gustav Klimt original. Well, it's not an original. I can tell it's a print. Interesting. I'm into it. And once you find a piece at the thrift store, you can either keep it as it is, you can alter it a little bit to fit your style or be a little bit more customized to your liking. If you find art like this that's a print and not a painting, you can just actually paint this white and use this as a canvas. This is way cheaper than going to the craft store and buying a canvas of this size. Okay, while you're at the thrift store, make sure you check out the frames, the picture frame section, because there are so many cool, unique art frames there for way cheaper than if you were to buy them new. And it's just one of those things that I feel like there's too many of them at the thrift store that we don't need to be buying them new. This is a little bit more of a recent hack, but I feel like the frame itself, or the frame plus the mat for the art, can be the art itself. Like there are so many cool, unique combos that you can do with a mat, whether it's a solid color and a really small piece of art, or just the frame has a lot of visual interest. Get creative with those frames, and there's lots of easy DIY ideas that you can do to achieve this look too. You could go for the striped frame look, the color drenched look, adding 3D elements to picture frames, the pattern with the frame and the matching mat, or also just unique mats, like maybe they have an interesting shape to them. Etsy is a fantastic place to look for art because you're gonna find all different types of styles by independent and local artists. These are gonna be one-of-a-kind pieces. You can go for print your own digital downloads or get prints sent to you, or like handmade one-of-a-kind paintings too. Like there's everything on Etsy. The problem is there's just a lot, so you need to look for it. If you haven't tried looking for art on Facebook Marketplace, I would definitely recommend checking it out. There's lots of people reselling art that maybe doesn't work in their home anymore, and it's a lot of one-of-a-kind pieces. I found this piece for my upstairs hallway, and it was somebody reselling a local artist's piece of work, and it was cut out of paper. Like it looks like a print, but it's paper. I love it so much. Have you ever been scrolling on Pinterest and you see some really cool art coming up and you're like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, you just discovered art. There's art on Pinterest. And if you wanna know who the artist is, you can click it. Sometimes it's posted by the artist, or it's posted by somebody who in some way credits the artist, or you can use reverse image search or Google Lens in order to find out who that original artist is, so that maybe you can go purchase a piece from that independent artist. Okay, listen up. This is a mistake that I want you to avoid because it's a mistake I've made basically my entire life. I don't like to buy things until I need them, but I think that this doesn't really apply for art, because there's definitely been times where I've seen art out in the wild, I'm thrifting, I'm shopping, I'm at a market, and I don't buy it. And then it comes to me having to decorate a space and I don't have any art. And now I'm rushed and I'm like, where am I gonna find art? What am I gonna put on this wall? And that is the last type of mental space you want to be in when you're trying to search for art. But in general, if you see a print or some piece of art that speaks to you, consider picking it up, because I've regretted sometimes when I haven't picked up a piece of art and it has spoken to me. If you do need art like now, like yesterday, there are some online production websites that are gonna have so many options for you. They're affordable and they're very quick, very easy. So places like Decenio, places like Society6, the Poster Club, even TheSorryGirls.com, we have downloadable digital art for you. These are all places where you can find pieces and then hang them up basically the next day. Local art markets and fairs are a great place to find those unique, one-of-a-kind pieces. They definitely range in price, I'd say, but a good place to check out. It's a lot of fun even if you don't end up buying something. And also, art school grad expos. Just all the young talent coming out of there. There's some really cool, unique pieces that they're showing, and how exciting to maybe be one of their first sales. You're not ready for this next one. You can rent art. Did you know this? You can rent art, try it out, see if you like it, and if you don't like it, return it to the artist. And if you do like it, you can buy it and keep it. For this dressing room makeover, I actually rented a bunch of art, but this piece I really loved, so I ended up buying it. I've used a website called Partial. It features local artists with one-of-a-kind pieces, and they are usually delivered to my door, and then I get to try it up on the wall. Custom commissions. I know that sounds very scary, sounds a little expensive, but it does not have to be either of those things. On Fiverr, I commissioned an artist to make this for me. Yo, bunch napkins, my liege. I also know that my sister gifted my parents a watercolor image of our family home, and I asked her about who she commissioned to make it, and she said she made it herself. So you can commission from other people, maybe it's DIY-able and you can do it, but creating custom pieces in different types of styles of different pieces of art is definitely an option for you, so get creative. Art with a story, I think, is an important thread that should apply to any art that you pick for your home. So even if it's not the most expected or traditional piece of art, if it's something that means a lot to you, has a story or history to you, and it brings you joy, that's literally all that matters. This is a design idea that extends way beyond art, and it's something that we cover in our Ultimate Room Makeover course. Let me tell you 5 quick facts about our Room Makeover course. So it is a digital 9-chapter, take at your own pace video course. Budgeting is one of the chapters and includes a budget tracker template, which is the same budget tracker template that we use when we complete our room makeovers. It's a great gift for somebody in your life who complains about their space a lot, or maybe you just need to revamp a little bit before the holidays. Well, the time to buy is now, because guys, we are giving you 25% off of our Ultimate Room Makeover course with the code HOLIDAY25. We're really proud of it. It's helped a lot of people, and I hope that you enjoy as well. Anyways, I was telling you why story is so important in design, and when it comes to art, I like it because it means that I'm not picking things that are cheap or trendy or that I will get sick of, because it has a lot of meaning to me. For example, I have these framed letters that my grandparents wrote to each other. I have this drawing from when I was like 10 years old that I just think is so cool. And this framed 4-leaf clover that my boyfriend picked out. Turn mementos into art. You can take those beautiful memories and moments with a story and turn them into art with a shadow box, or I've even seen collages made from like brochures and ticket stubs to make a whole new art collage. Mirror is art. I said what I said. Let me know if you disagree, but I don't think that art needs to be just a picture in a frame or a canvas painting on a wall. I think that things and objects can also be art. I think the point of art is to kind of fill the space with personality and story, and to balance it if you have too much of a blank wall. And I also don't think it works if there's just a bunch of square items on the wall. So let's add some variety, and let's do that with things. This can be sculptural objects, this can be a candlestick holder, this can be a DIY vase with some dried flowers in it, it can be a wall planter, maybe it's guitars and instruments or tennis rackets. It could just be things that are nicely placed on the wall that kind of act like art. Am I wrong? I actually think you can have records without a record player, because guess what? That album art from the records, it's called album art for a reason. You can put that on your wall, and now you've just decorated your wall with album art. There's a lot of frames out there that exist that work nicely with the square album art, and now you have yourself some art that you've thrifted, or maybe you just already had in your record pile. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, family photographs. I've seen them done in a designerly way. I've also seen them done more commonly not so designerly. And I don't know about you, but I just don't have a whole credenza that I can dedicate to standing picture frames. Mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, talking to you. So here are some of my ideas to handle family photographs in a slightly different way. You can make the photos black and white. This is just a way to kind of integrate to a lot more different design styles. I think it's smart to combine family photos with a little bit more of a traditional gallery wall, so you're not just having a whole bunch of family photos. Maybe it's art and sketches and a collection of different types of art in addition to family photographs. I think that's a nice way to balance it out. This is what I've done in my space, and it's my favorite: vintage photographs. I just feel like vintage photographs have a lot more character, especially if they're candids. They just don't make them like that anymore. Studio sessions and like professional wedding photos are just not the same as like vintage candid photos. And the reason that I like this is because they don't feel like they're outdated. Like, do you just remember visiting your parents' house and there's like a photo there from the awkward like grade 8 years, and you're just like, why is this here? You might only be like 4 years older, but it just feels so wrong and dated. So I like going even more vintage. I don't know, that's just me. Or if photos just aren't your vibe, you can always take a photo and create a minimal graphic design version of it. So again, to you, it has a lot of story and meaning, but to somebody else, maybe they're just like, oh, that's cool and kind of abstract. And it doesn't scream, this is a family photo. Maybe this one's for you. Maybe this one's directed towards people in your life who have maybe sports paraphernalia, posters that are a little bit intense and maybe don't go with your decor. Well, just know that there's some minimal options out there. There are some alternate graphic design options out there that maybe will satisfy and allow a compromise for everybody. Okay. This also goes for movie posters. There are so many cool minimal or alternative movie posters. I mean, I think some movie posters are just classic and good as is, but other movie posters maybe need some zhuzhing or maybe just don't go with everybody's design styles. So know that those are options for you. Textile art. This is like a whole category of art, and it's really good if you have a large space or wall that you need to fill, or maybe you have sound issues and you need some like sound dampening. So there's things like rug tufting or DIY quilts. Also, what about vintage rugs or like tapestry vibes? We've put a rug on the wall. I know it's not for everybody, but it can be done in so many different ways, and I think it's actually so cool. I think a big piece of textile art would look really good right here, so I'm keeping my eye on Marketplace for quilts. Speaking if you have a larger space that you need to fill, have we considered painting? You can kind of like paint your own art, and you don't need to have superior artistic skills. For example, if I wanted art by this chair here, it could look something like this, or this, or this. Paint is an affordable way to fill the space, and it kind of acts like a decal, which is a whole kind of other idea. Decals, decals. I always get in trouble. Which one is it? Okay, this is a fantastic art hack that we've used many times before, and it is open access at the Met. This is a resource where you can find free, high quality art that they've scanned and uploaded that you can then download and then print yourself. I think a few other museums have it as well. If you know those, feel free to put them down in the comments for us. Once you do print it, we've used a hack where we've used Mod Podge or some kind of texture medium in order to add some dimension to those photos. If you kind of go in similar brush strokes, you can kind of make it look like it's a real painting and not one that you printed off the internet. But how good? What a great idea for free art. Until you print it. Then it costs you a little bit of money. Okay, so we've made it to styling tips and do's and don'ts. You have now purchased or DIY'd your art, but how do you style it? How do you hang it? What should you do? So here's some thoughts I have. You can do one giant piece of art. So cool. You could do a giant piece of art as a headboard. Smart. You could do one piece that's centered, or like one piece but it's offset. Also very cool. You can do art to balance a space, like say on a TV wall. I added some extra frames so it wasn't just focused on the TV. You can do two pieces of art on their own. You can do a small cluster or gallery wall. You can do a large cluster or gallery wall. And I think the only thing that I'm a little bit hesitant about is multiple gallery walls in one space that are the same size and using the same scale of images. So if you're just doing an art-drenched space, I think that's a little different. Or if you're doing a corner and the gallery wall operates like that, I think that's fine. But if you have a space and you have two separate gallery walls, I think they can compete a little bit. Consider maybe just doing one piece of art on one wall with a gallery wall on the other, or at the very least, one big gallery wall with maybe larger pieces of art and then a smaller cluster of just 3. That's just my opinion. Do you agree or disagree? And if you need more design tips and advice, do remember that our Ultimate Room Makeover course is on sale with the code HOLIDAY25 until December 20th if you use that code at checkout. The link is down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.